I want to double my sales. So double my referrals. Just give me more referrals. Like, it's not exactly how it works with referral partners, guys. You can't just kind of go turn up the knob on.
David and I have a vast experience in consulting, marketing, helping insurance agents really grow and scale their insurance agencies, all the way from new agents that are just getting started in the industry, and even consulting for huge brokerages. I've actually consulted for the largest personal lines brokerage in the country on marketing, specifically websites, funnel building, and all of that really good stuff. So I'm really excited to be here talking to you guys about marketing strategies that are working today.
The marketing especially has changed significantly on how we can be effective and how we can be targeted and how we can build our business.
This episode of The Insurance Dream is brought to you by...
I had a good friend of mine that signed up for an aggregator some years back, and in order to get out of that aggregator contract, he had to pay the aggregator $250,000. I own my own book of business, and if I go to sell it, I don't have to share a portion of the sales with insurance professionals.
Everything you guys advertise, you cover. The support, the technology, the ability to be able to utilize you guys as a resource. It's amazing, especially for new agencies or agencies that are looking to grow, that have a limited market.
Insurance Professionals is the aggregator unlike any other. You own your book of business 100%. You pay no sign-up fees, monthly fees, or exit fees. You have direct logins to the nation's top insurance companies, and you have the ability to quote and bind directly on the carrier's website. Insurance Professionals was built for insurance agents by insurance agents. Come see what makes us America's favorite aggregator at www.becomeaninsurancepro.com. Again, that's www.becomeaninsurancepro.com.
My name is Elle Denning. I am a founder of Jumpstart Go along with David, and our Jumpstart Go team. We definitely got a few team members here. We run Jumpstart Go, the Marketing for Insurance Agents Facebook group of over 26,000 insurance agents. David and I have a vast experience in consulting, marketing, helping insurance agents really grow and scale their insurance agencies, all the way from new agents that are just getting started in the industry, and even consulting for huge brokerages. I've actually consulted for the largest personal lines brokerage in the country on marketing, specifically websites and funnel building and all of that really good stuff. So I'm really excited to be here talking to you guys about marketing strategies that are working today. David and I, we have so much background in marketing, and not just what I would consider conceptual ideas of marketing, but marketing that actually works and produces results. So
get the bell ringing for you and your agency. Let's be honest, that's what matters. Ringing that bell, getting those sales, getting that growth, right? I just wanted to ring the bell, so.
I love it. Yes, I love ringing the bell too.
Sorry for hurting anybody's ears.
For when our clients are winning. So we're really excited to talk about strategies that actually work. So as David said, drop your questions throughout this. We have our team in the chat here. They're collecting those questions, and they're going to be sending them to us so that we can collect them and make sure that we get to them. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and get us started here. David, was there anything that you wanted to mention before we jump straight into this topic?
No, I mean, just kind of following up on the intro, guys, we've worked with hundreds of agents inside our programs, tens of thousands inside the group. We are focused on what works and brings in results. Conceptual is nice, like Elle said, but at the end of the day, what matters is what actually gets those sales commissions, helps the insureds, as well as helps grow your business. And that's what we focus on. We love targeting, psychology, strategy, everything, but at the end of the day, we like teaching agents what they can do that gets prospects, referrals, sales, that growth. And so that's what we're super passionate about. Anybody that's hung around us, that's been worked with us, anything knows that. And so we're all about having a mission to help thousands, tens of thousands of agents grow and scale their businesses so they can help tens of thousands of insureds, and that having a huge impact. That's what we're all about. So with that, let's go ahead and hop into that on adding 10,000 to your biz, top marketing strategies for doing so. So really excited.
Love it. And we talked about this already, but just in case you are not part of the group, we definitely will be talking about here in a minute, towards the end of the presentation, a way that you can get access to the group if you don't already have access. But there, we do run the group Marketing for Insurance Agents. There's over 26,000 insurance agents inside of that group. So if you're not a part of it, we definitely would love to have you in the community. That's most likely how you ended up on this webinar here tonight as well. All right, so we're going to jump right into it. And we're going to talk about traditional marketing methods and ways that, you know, typically in the industry hear about generating those leads, generating opportunities. And before we really dive into the meat of this, I would really like to challenge everybody that's on the line tonight to have an open mind about what marketing means, because we might be challenging you a little bit and almost redefining marketing in your mind. But really at the end of the day, what we're talking about is how you can create more opportunities to talk to people and how you can do that in the most cost-effective and really with using your most valuable resource, which is your time, most effectively. So we're going to be diving right into that. If you're excited about this, you're excited to kind of learn a little bit more about the old way, which we're going to talk about, but really the new way of marketing, of what's working in 2022, write a let's go in the chat. Let us know. As David said, we love participation, love questions. Love to know that you guys are tracking with us and that you're getting value out of the presentation. So with that, David, would you like to kick us off a little bit in talking about traditionally ways that leads are generated, that referrals are generated inside of the industry?
Absolutely. And also tagging on to what you said a little bit earlier, like, you know, something we hear all the time is one of the top things from the Market for Insurance Facebook group when clients initially come to us is, I just want to talk to more people, have more opportunities, right? Like they're like, you know, I can sell people, or I got a great product, I'm at a great company, whatever it is, but I just need to have more opportunities of speaking with people so that I can help them. And that's what they really come to us as. And so that's what we're talking about, is creating those conversations, but also better conversations, better opportunities and prospects. If you can talk to 10 and end up with the same sales as talking to 100 or 1,000, then why not talk to 10 and have those same amount of sales, and rather than pushing through 1,000. So we're going to talk into this, and also we're going to talk around the concept as well of, you know, relationship side, which we believe is really powerful, and this is what the industry is all about, why building businesses and relationships. And so that's what we're going to dive into. So let's talk about some of the traditional marketing methods. And I'm going to be honest, it's up until probably 5-10 years ago or so, you know, the insurance industry was pretty consistent for 100 years, and the same things worked pretty well. And this thing called the internet came around, and, you know, all these things, you know, changed a little bit. Now, some of the core things are the same, of course, but the marketing especially has changed significantly on how we can be effective and how we can be targeted and how we can build our businesses. So I'm going to talk about some of the ways that things were always done, and then we'll talk about the new way as well on what things are working now too. So relationship building. Traditionally, yeah, agents would go out to their local communities. They'd be heavily involved. They'd work their warm network, their families, their friends, their church, their local community. They maybe go to business events. They'd go to picnics. They go to farmers markets. They go to a lot of stuff and build up this surrounding community. And through that, word of mouth and referrals, they'd grow and scale their business. And not why that stuff is still very important. That is traditionally how a lot was done. And this is how a lot of these smaller independent agencies grew, and then even captive agencies in these areas. Very much so, it's just being a huge part of the community, which is great. And but you also are limiting the market to a particular smaller physical area when there's so much opportunity for growth as well. So we're gonna talk about that too. And then that was the relationship side. It's like shaking hands, meeting and greeting, kissing babies or whatever, all that good local relationship stuff. And then there was the volume side, which also has traditionally been around for a very long time. It's, very much leads, maybe purchasing a lot of internet or page leads, the smiling and dialing. I'm going to sit here with a phone book. I'm going to call 500 people a day, hope some of them answering. It's not insurance industry alone. There's a lot of industries. But it's just like for sales and prospecting, was just call a bunch of numbers, try to get a hold of people and talk to them. The birth of telemarketing. And then that which leads into cold calling and just calling through. Maybe it's not even a lead, maybe it's just a number, and hopefully talking to people before the do not call list existed. And then door knocking. I'll go around and knock on doors and try to talk to people and stir up conversations. Some of that's very much still alive today, especially in the solar market, and but also even in the insurance industry. So this was very traditional ways of building. You had your local in-person connecting with your community, and then you had the almost smiling and dialing, calling people, or just kind of cold door knocking as well. And those were two very big parts.
Absolutely.
Comment is cold calling is so much fun, said no one ever.
No one ever. That's right. And let us know in the chat here if you have done any of these things to build your business, whether you've been to a networking event, done a community event, sponsored something for your community. If you've purchased leads, if you've done, straight up cold calling, not even from a list, like let's just start dialing numbers, businesses, and then of course, door knocking. Let us know. Have you done any of these? Seeing a lot of yeses. Okay, cool. All of it. All right. Well, we're going to talk about some ways to really supercharge any of the efforts.
Comments are flying.
We're gonna dive more into this, guys. So,
reminder, please click everyone when you submit the comment so that we can see them and get your questions and stuff too. If you click just post and panelists, then only Elle and I are going to see this, and we're not going to get all your questions collected because there's a lot. Awesome.
all right, you guys can probably even tell us in the chat here some of the pitfalls and the issues that arise with working some of these traditional ways of marketing and generating leads. So let's first start with relationship building. So one of the things with this is that it's incredibly time consuming and a very manual type of a process to build relationships in person. It's also very difficult to create repeatable processes from networking and, even building referral partnerships. And David says this all the time. It always makes me chuckle of like going to, a referral source and being like, hey, Mr. Referral Source, my sales are down this month. Can you give me an additional 20 referrals? Like, that's not a very easy.
I want to double my sales. So double my referrals. Just give me more referrals. Like, it's not exactly how it works with referral partners, guys. You can't just kind of go turn up the knob on them. Like,
yes, exactly. It's a difficult type of a lead source to really control or to be able to manipulate. So it's not scalable. I saw somebody say that in the comments. Yep. Yes, it can be very, very difficult to scale predictably. And one of the things I want to point out is that it's not necessarily that any of these things that we're talking about that are traditional marketing is bad. We're just talking about some of the downfalls of it, which I'm sure all of you on the line, if you've done any of these, you're going to understand what some of the drawbacks are. And we're going to talk about how we can actually leverage better processes and systems in 2022 to be more leveraged in our time. But the last thing I want to touch on with the relationship building, it can be really tough to get the ball rolling on something like this because it is a lot of building up your name, meeting a lot of people, sometimes having a lot of like face-to-face, sit down, coffee. You're having a lot of like one-to-one type of conversations to really develop those relationships, especially valuable relationships that you have to nurture over time. Because people need that time to know, like, and trust you, because that's part of that relationship building process, and it takes time. And then, of course, the actual time that it takes for you to get in your car and drive somewhere to meet somebody in person, go to those networking events. David and I know this because we've done this. I remember there was one point when we were first, starting our business, there was a networking event that we went to almost every single day, Monday through Friday, and sometimes on the weekends. And it was incredibly time consuming. We were, putting gas in our car, going, sometimes driving, to networking events that were an hour away from where we lived to build these relationships. So that part of it is also very time consuming. And then additionally, all of the follow-up, you come back with a stack of business cards like this that you're manually, typing out emails to everybody or, trying to set up phone calls with them. So that part of it can get very time consuming.
Well, and in today's world, you'd have to take out a bank loan just to be able to drive, get the gas to go everywhere,
Good
right?
point.
So you're going to spend more on gas than you are on actually making sales. And I will make another point on this too. Especially that applies to a lot of the agents in here, because I was looking at how long some have been in the industry and stuff, and some of those comments. But this very, very much favors right here the ones that have been established and had an agency in the family for generations or been in their area for decades. It is very hard to move and overcome an established agency in a smaller local community, for example, and stuff like that. And so if this is the method that you're relying on as a brand new agent or brand new agency, especially if you're in maybe a smaller area, it's very difficult to compete against the agency that's, hey, I've been here 30, 40 years. These people have been clients of mine for 20 years. But that doesn't have to be the case. There are so many ways for building and scaling even beyond this local side, and even how to do this more effectively so you can compete against them. So whether you're a brand new agency or just getting rolling, there's a lot of opportunity. But when this was the only marketing method that you go out and just try to hit the local community, there's someone established there, you're going to have a hard time.
Absolutely. All right, now talking about the numbers and volume side of it. Let me know in the comments, have you worked a lead? Have you purchased leads? Let us know. And
we said the dirty word. We said leads. I will guarantee everybody's got some type of reaction or thoughts if the word leads, the lead vendor, purchasing leads ever is said. So exactly.
Yeah.
Stacy's like, leads, so over it.
Yeah.
Adrian, yes, crap leads too. So yes, it's very opinionated. Very much everybody's had some sort of experience if they've ever bought a lead, worked a lead, and even people that have never worked leads have some opinion or thoughts about it. Of leads are not a good way to go, or awful, wasted time, and so it's very interesting to see all of this. And so, very, very interesting comment. So if you've got thoughts or ever worked leads before, please let us know. $1,000+ not even one client, wasted money. So, but also any leads better than no leads. So yes, like I said, there's a lot of thoughts to go into this. So we'll talk about this a lot, but I'll stir up some debate.
Right. So with leads and working leads, some of the downfalls of this, you can almost think about this like leads this is sort of the opposite side of the spectrum when we start thinking about it, because it's a volume game, right? Like with relationship building, you're really counting on putting a lot of time and energy into making those connections. And especially if you can create those referral partnerships, and really hoping that referral partnership becomes a lead source for you. With purchasing leads or cold calling, door knocking, all of these things, you're really counting on the volume at that point. You're really counting on working a lot of leads, and through the volume that you're going to have a few that are good ones, hopefully. I definitely saw a lot of the comments here on the ROI not being great. Someone spent $1,000, didn't even get one client out of it. And we unfortunately hear that story quite often. And we'll talk a little bit more about working leads here, but it's still time consuming. Even like going to the networking events and putting gas in your car, all of that. It was still working leads. You're still dialing and spending all that time properly working the lead. It's expensive because you have to put in the investment of working the leads. You're putting money out before you're even, seeing it. And then it's also emotionally draining. I put that on here, just, that pounding the phone, smiling and dialing, grinding it out day over day. That's exhausting to do. And nobody really wants to do that, and make that their whole business for their entire lives where they're doing 100 dials a day. I mean, maybe I shouldn't.
I don't think that many people wake up being like, I eat rejection for breakfast. I'm ready to have a bunch of people tell me no, to, say mean words to me, hang up on me, whatever. I live for that stuff. It's not too many people. And even if you are good at it, which honestly, you gotta be able to shrug the some stuff off the shoulders being in sales. It's just kind of sales. But even if you are, it's still draining. It still sucks emotion, even if you're able to kind of defend against that and kind of be resilient. But it still sucks that out of you a bit.
Yeah. So like I said, we can kind of think about this on a spectrum, time and money here. Kind of the promise with leads, like we were talking about, is that, you're going to see that return faster. You're going to be able to have more volume of leads and more of an immediate type of result versus the relationship building side, which is going to take longer, more effort as far as before you ever see anything from that. And it also, both of these things can be very time consuming and also very expensive depending on how you're doing them. But there's elements of these that we're going to talk about that actually are really good and important concepts that need to be implemented into any marketing strategy that's working today. And we're going to talk about that. So digital marketing, that's really where we thrive. We have a ton of experience in and have helped agents build thriving businesses based off of these concepts that we're going to get into now that really bring in the best of both worlds and really help you with your marketing so that you are really building relationships in the most efficient way possible. And you can almost think about it as the same type of volume that you would get from purchasing leads, maybe not quite that much volume, but the having volume, but with the relationship aspect that's going to make a lead or a referral much more high intent and high quality to talk to. This is where digital marketing really can help bridge that gap. And we're going to talk about the strategies that you can implement inside of your business to really bring the best of these two ideas together into one strategy. So let us know, write me in the comments here in the chat if you're ready to dive into this and start really breaking down what makes an effective digital marketing strategy in 2022. Awesome. Let's do it.
And also to highlight, guys, just in case anybody had questions on this and stuff as well, which please do ask questions. I've got Amy on my team like, I haven't seen any questions yet. So please ask questions as we go throughout because we're going to want to answer some at the end with the Q&A for sure. But I did want to answer this. Goes for all lines of insurance, both captive, independent, everything. So if you're here and you're a licensed insurance agent, you're in the right spot because what we're going to talk about applies to everything. So
love it. Thanks.
Lots of meats. Let's go.
Let's go. All right. So digital marketing is highly leveraged relationship building. So we're going to break that down on what that actually means. But your digital marketing really gives you that ability to build relationship in a scalable way. So everything that we love about shaking hands, one-to-one, building that relationship, being able to look at somebody in the eye, creating referral partnerships, there is a way to do that in a much more time efficient way, in a way that is one to many versus one to one. So we're going to break it down. But before we do, digital marketing really allows you to connect with the right leads. So that it puts you in control of who is a most ideal, perfect fit client for you. Who is that person? And it puts the control in your court to be able to take that ball and put it where you want it. You're in control of that, of really determining the audience instead of it just being determined by who's at that local networking event, who happens to be there. Is it really a good fit of clients for you? Is that really the market that you're looking to reach? Or purchasing leads, it can be very difficult sometimes to get the right leads. There are ways that you can, as long as you know who you're after, to make sure that you're getting the right fit leads in. But if you don't know that even to begin with, then it's really difficult to purchase the right lead. Digital marketing also allows you to establish the know, like, and trust factor, and it allows you to do this at scale. So really putting out content and creating value and establishing yourself as an authority. These are all things that you can do in a one-to-many setting, so that it's not just one-to-one. It's not that one-to-one coffee conversation that you have to have with 20 individuals before you're seeing something from that. That's you putting out one piece of content that can be seen by thousands, potentially tens of thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of people, which we have a client doing, and establishing herself as an authority and having people reach out to her that are resonating with what she's saying. It also allows you, again, to do the same thing in establishing your authority, becoming visible, establishing yourself as the expert, the knowledge expert in your field, so that people will want to work with you. It also allows you to connect and build rapport faster. Just think about having to dial through all of those leads, and how many conversations do you have to have about, how's the weather where you are, or, just that small talk conversation when you're going through that building rapport phase. Really using social media for people to determine that they like you before they ever get into conversation with you. The rapport is already built, and they've already determined in their minds that you're the right person for them to work with because of the content that you're putting out on social media. And then obviously allows you to get in front of more people. The digital world is huge. These social media platforms alone offer such incredible leverage for us as business owners to connect with more people than we ever have in any other time in history. That's pretty staggering to think about, just the amount of sheer connections that are available for us to make if we are willing to make them. And then you can have multiple conversations at once. It's not that one-to-one sitting down and having coffee. It's not the picking up the phone, just having one conversation with one person. You are able to use digital marketing, some of these techniques that we're going to talk about, to have simultaneous conversations, to be able to talk to, again, hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of people, all with one piece of communication, with one push of a button, sending an email or a social post, or being able to communicate with so many people just in a way that is so not time consuming. It's so leveraged. I love that word leverage because it's really you doing one activity that's ultimately multiplied tens of thousands of times. So David, anything that you want to add here on this?
I know you like the word leverage as a part of that. And I love the relationship part that's still a part of this, is how to do this in a way that's not a churn and burn. Someone's just a number and a commission to you, but how to do this in a way that you still have this relationship component. You still have this, they trust you, they're going to refer to you, they have this client experience with you, but in this leveraged way that doesn't take up so much time like one-on-one. And so yeah, I love that part because this is all about relationships, and conversations are the currency of this industry. And so that's what we're talking about, is building those conversations and that relationship, but in this leveraged way. So love it.
I love it. All right. So a few client examples here and case studies of people that I don't know what you're doing in this video, but
Karate chopping away marketing. I don't know what's happening there, but yeah.
This is Katie Sutton, and she's a wonderful example of how she's layered in digital marketing into what she was already doing. So Katie was already getting out into her community and networking, and she was already building those relationships. But what she has done by putting out social media content and really building an online brand is now when she walks into any of her networking events, people already know who she is from social media, even if she's never met them before. So they already know who she is, what she does, who she helps. And it makes it much easier to have that conversation and move that person closer to a potential sales conversation or a referralship partnership type of conversation, because they already know and like her from her social media content that she's putting out.
I mean, how awesome is that? I mean, write me in the comments if you'd love to walk into rooms, people be like, hey, I already know who you are, David, and I've been following you for a while. Love your stuff. In fact, I've been meaning to talk to you about either referring business to you or actually reviewing some of my policies myself. I need some help with that. Wouldn't that be pretty cool? Like actually having people already know who you are before you know who the heck they are. That's fun. And that happens all the time on social when you're doing it right. So it's pretty cool.
And as we talked about, this is Olivia, who we mentioned earlier. This can also become your main lead and referral source. So when you are really leveraging these strategies, it can become your main tool for generating leads. And Olivia is a great example. She is 19 years old and she's using TikTok, the platform TikTok, to generate leads and have conversations with people about IULs. And she's putting out educational content, establishing herself as an authority, and building her brand. And people are reaching out to her or booking calendar appointments directly onto her schedule, into her schedule, straight from social media. And this is her primary tool for generating leads. I don't know if Olivia's ever done any I know she's never purchased leads.
No, she hasn't.
I don't know if she's ever gone to an in-person networking event or done any of the traditional marketing that we just talked about. She's just marketing using digital strategies. So digital marketing is very powerful for either supplementing what you are already doing, like Katie, and really supercharging it, or you can even make it your primary source for lead generation. All right, so we're going to talk about 3 crucial steps every single person has to have in place in order to make digital marketing work for them in their business. First up, start with who. So you have to know who you are talking to first thing first. Like that is the most, I would argue, probably the most critical thing that's going to inform all of your decisions that are marketing based, is knowing who is the right fit lead for you. And that goes back to who is the most ideal client for you. And that always there always has to be a product market fit there. Your products have to be a good solution for the audience that you're marketing to and the audience that you're looking to reach. And Kelly Spies is an incredible example of this. She focuses pretty much all of her marketing efforts just to food trucks, and she's branded herself as the Food Truck Freaks. And she writes commercial food truck insurance, and that is what she is known for. And she even has carriers reaching out to her now, asking her to do trainings, on how to best quote and sell food truck insurance, because she's made it such a specialty. And so if Kelly had not had good carriers to write for food trucks, then that wouldn't be a good niche for her, a good market to go after. So it's always really important to first understand your products and know, okay, who is the best fit for the product that I sell? And then understanding what those pain points are that your products solve. So you want to make sure that you are, and we'll talk about this in a minute, but that you're really tying whatever you're saying on social media to a solution, and that your product is the solution. So talking about the pain points and the problems, knowing what that is, but you don't want to keep people in the fear and the anxiety of not having the right coverage for insurance. You always want to talk about what is the solution that you are providing to the problem that they may or may not know that they have. David, anything? I know you're answering questions in the chat there. Anything that you want to add on to this?
No, some good chat going on in the comments, and this is great as well. So, I mean, some of the questions are, the platforms, and honestly, I don't want us to get too focused on particular platforms. What we're teaching and what we're focused on here really works for all platforms, and then certain platforms may be better fits depending on who your audience is. But to be honest, a lot of audiences cross over into a bunch of different platforms. So I saw a comment on TikTok's not a good platform for the 65 market, which, to be fair, yes, Facebook is probably one of the better social media platforms for a senior audience, as most grandparents getting on to see the grandkids, to see pets, to hang out on whatever they're doing on Facebook. But they're here on Facebook. This is one platform they're probably going to be on. But the fastest growing demographic on TikTok is the 30 to 45-year-olds, and the seniors are also starting to get on TikTok too, because all their grandkids are doing dances on there and they're cute and they want to see them too. So, just because the platform may start off particularly going after a particular audience doesn't mean it's a grow and expand there, because at the end of the day, the more audience they get on there, the more ad dollars they make. So they're very incentivized for that. But coming back to your main point is knowing who your audience is, being targeted, going after that really helps with you becoming that authority. The people coming to you for that, even nationwide, like Kelly. It's so cool that with her focusing on that, she's got food truck manufacturers reaching out to her for sending her clients to rent her food trucks and all this. And all this came from social media for free. Also has never bought or worked a lead as well. And so it's just really powerful what you can do with this when you know who you're going after. You're not the agent that everybody is my client, because let's be honest, if everybody says that, it doesn't make you special. It's better to be, hey, these are the people that are my people that I can help or ever, and it makes it much easier to attract people that way. So yeah, I'm really excited. I mean, I love talking about this stuff.
I love it. And yeah, so understanding where to connect with that audience. So really understanding your audience is important, and then knowing where to connect with them, just like you're saying on platforms. One of the things that I haven't included in this presentation, but I do think it's really important to talk about, and so I'm going to talk about it now, is this idea of like spray and pray, or like this idea of be everywhere. This is a common remember I said at the beginning to have an open mind. This is where I need everybody to have an open mind, because you've likely been told that you should be everywhere and that you need to create an omnipresence online. But the reality of it is especially when we're small businesses, it is so hard to create an omnipresence where you're posting on every single channel. So we really encourage that people choose one, especially when they're first getting started with their digital marketing strategy. They choose one social media platform and they go all in that one platform, because it gets very time consuming, very overwhelming to try to be everywhere and post on every single platform. And it becomes very difficult to sustain over time. You can generate so many leads, so many opportunities and conversations with just one platform. You don't need to do all of the platforms all at once. You really just need to get started with one. It does need to be one that is appropriate for your demographic. We typically do recommend Facebook for getting started, because there is a wide variety of demographics that are on Facebook. If you're like an Olivia who's committed to generating the content that's required for a social platform like TikTok, and you're going after a younger demographic, then that might be the right platform for you. If you're looking to, a much more long-term type of a strategy where you're looking to build, a training library over time, and know that you're going to have to put in a lot of time and effort of building out a training library of video, YouTube might be the right platform for you. But we typically recommend Facebook for people that are getting started, that are new to digital marketing, because again, there's a lot of people on Facebook as far as users, and you've got a spectrum of user groups across age ranges and demographics. And the other thing that we really lean into is how to leverage Facebook groups to find the right audience. So that's really key. There's Facebook groups for just about anybody out there, for all kinds of different life stages, different states, business owners, you name it. There's a group for them on Facebook, and you can leverage those Facebook groups to connect with the right people. All of this that we're talking about comes down to knowing who, and knowing the one or two products that are the best one or two products for you to sell, especially if you're getting started, and who's a good fit for those products, and then going all in and finding those people on social media. So this is a really important piece. If you don't have the who dialed in and you don't have that product market fit, digital marketing is not going to work for you, because you'll never be able to first find the right people, and then second, actually sell them the product that's a right fit for them. So you've got to have those pieces in place before you can move on to any of the rest of the fun stuff we're about to jump into.
But I mean, and also to be fair, that can be difficult or hard, especially for a lot of agents, is figuring out who that is, what makes sense, how do I dive into that, how do I figure it out. And so that's also why that's an area we help so much with, is because a lot of people find it hard to narrow down. We're just like, oh, senior audience, oh, anybody with a home. And it's like, that's not really narrowing it down that much.
Absolutely. All right. So next up is creating content. So once you know who you're connecting with and you know where you're connecting with them, you want to start generating content that is going to be compelling for this particular audience. And Christy Schultz here is a great example, because Christy has used video very consistently in her business. How much business did she write last week? And
I just dropped the comments. In one day, she did 19,000 in premium for only personal lines P&C. No commercial, nothing else, just personal lines P&C, 19,000 in a day, no leads, just organic social. So yeah. But she's regularly closing like 50,000 in personal lines premium. Guys, because added in commercial, that's still really good, but personal lines only, that's a lot of premium. So yeah.
I love it. And Christy does an amazing job. I've pulled one of her posts here is how much could you save by adding renter's policy with your current auto insurance? So this is a piece of educational content, value content that she's providing here. She's also given a shout out to a local business owner, which I think I love that. But Christy does a really good job of mixing her content between not only business and educating her audience, but also bringing in her, her personal life and allowing people to see her as not just, an insurance agent, but also as a mom and a busy one at that. And, a wife, and to see kind of behind the scenes almost of, what her life looks like. And what that does is, remember earlier I was talking about social media and digital marketing allows you to build rapport a lot faster and with more people at once because of the content that you're putting out, and so many more people are seeing you as a face and seeing your life and seeing you as a person, not just in what you do for business, but your hobbies, the people that you spend your time with, the things that are interesting to you. All of those things go a long way in people trusting you as a person, because people will never do business with people that they don't trust. And the rapport piece, and when you're building rapport with people, you're typically talking about things that are, not even business related things. It's more about life, hobbies, interest, seeing if there's anything maybe that you can pull out of that, of like, I have that in common too. And when people see that, they see that they have things in common, like Christy's mom group, for example, of, a community of moms, like they all have that in common. And that goes a long way in building that trust and rapport. So when you're creating your content, you want to make sure that you're following the 3 E's here, telling stories, which can be super entertaining, but they can also be educational as well. So stories is a great way to really connect with your audience and put out value to them. Telling stories about how you've helped past clients, telling your own personal stories, and maybe there was a way that insurance helped you or somebody that you knew. That's a story that you should be telling in your marketing and on social media. And then providing solutions, again, going back to that, how you have a solution to a problem that your audience has. So making sure that you're talking about how you have that solution, and also educating them on the problem, because sometimes people don't even know the problems that they have. I forget the statistic, but I think a few years ago, it was only like 35% of millennials had ever been approached about life insurance before. They literally people with mortgages and families have never even been properly educated on why a life insurance policy is important. So that when you start thinking about that, or thinking about, their education is needed, and people need to first know about the problem and then also be educated on the solution as well, and really centering your content to be solution and value focused is really important. And then you want to start conversations. And I think that this is the biggest piece. And especially when we're talking about marketing in 2022, you want to think about your marketing as a way to start conversations. And especially when you're first starting with digital marketing, you want to think about ways that you can almost prompt people to engage with your content. And that can be asking them, hey, write me in the post if you can relate, or write me in the comments, even like we've been doing throughout this webinar here, and asking people to engage with your content, because that engagement is really key for getting them. Not only does that help the algorithm with social media, But there's also social proof that's a part of that. When people start seeing other people engaging and commenting on your stuff, and then it also gives you an opportunity to respond back to them and then move them into conversation. And that's the next part that we're going to talk about here. David, anything you want to talk about on creating content?
I mean, just reiterating what you're saying is like, this is really the chance for you to get in front of people, from to get to know who you are, build that trust, build that authority, and for them to work with people that they want to work with. It's really cool because in doing this, you attract the people that are actually your ideal customers that you would want to work with, that are going to be the ones that refer you, that stay customers of yours, that want additional help from you, perfect for cross sells and stuff like this or ever, and that already coming to you warm and ready for your help, saying, hey, Christy, hey, David, hey, Elle, can you please help me with my insurance? I love your videos. I've seen what you've been doing. I want that help or ever. And the flip side is pretty cool because you get to repel those that you wouldn't really want to work with, that probably are not your ideal clients. And so it's really cool on all the different ways this works out for growing your business with better quality prospects and clients at the end of the day, and kind of keeping those that wouldn't be ideal prospects out of the loop. And so, and the really cool thing too with that educate portion is you get to basically build them into the clients you want them to be when they come to you to work with you. And so you get to educate them on why would you not want state minimums? Why is that a bad thing? Why is it not good to get the cheapest insurance you can get? All these different things. So that when we come to you like, oh, I already know not to get the cheapest and I don't want that. I want actually the best coverage you can get me. And I'm happy to pay for that because I know why that's important. How many of you guys want customers that say that sort of stuff when they come to you? Not, hey, can you beat my current insurance by $1? Otherwise I'm leaving you and going somewhere else or whatever. Like, let's be honest, guys, the better quality clients, you can work with less and do more business and spend way less time than trying to work with anybody under the sun. Another reason to get targeted with who you work with. So anyways, I can talk all day about the creating content portion because that's one of my favorite parts. We're right here creating content with you guys right now and here. And I love creating content, videos, putting stuff out. It's all strategic, right? Like you don't just like create a piece and put it out just because. It all goes a part of the strategy together. And that's my favorite. I love whether it's TikTok, Facebook, I don't care what the platform is. I love making content because I know how powerful it is and how effectively it can build a business. And we built 7+ figure business literally just using social and content. And it's very, very powerful. And agents are doing this every single day. If you're not doing it, you're missing the boat.
I love it. And we got a lot of comments and
lots of comments,
questions coming in. So we'll definitely make sure to collect those and answer those here in just a minute. So when we're talking about creating opportunities, which is step 3, because the opportunities are really going to be, those are your leads, essentially. Those are your opportunities to have conversations, have sales conversations, have opportunities to quote people and talk to them. So this is the biggest thing that I see happen in marketing is that agents will start posting, and on whatever platform, but they really don't have a strategy to convert what they're posting into actual conversations or opportunities. So this is a really important piece of the marketing strategy, and you should have a goal in mind, and to have a goal of how many conversations you want to generate a week, a day off of social media, and go after it and kind of do whatever you need to do to generate those conversations, which could include reaching out to people directly, especially at first in Messenger. It doesn't have to be salesy. It doesn't have to be a pitch right in Messenger. We've all gotten those before and we don't like them. We don't want them, but you can generate conversations that really lead with value. It can even be, if it's somebody that you already know in your community or from your network, it can even just be re-engaging them and asking how things are going, what's new in their life, things like that are all conversations that can be generated and opportunities that can be moved into sales conversations. So we want to think about marketing as a tool to generate as many conversations as possible, and getting into direct message by providing a resource or valuable content. So a strategy that we love, it's super, super easy. Instead of sending people away from whatever platform you're on, if it's Facebook, if it's TikTok, whatever it is, really focus on having the conversation with them either in the comments of your post or in direct message, and ask people to comment on your post to learn more information. It can be as simple as saying, write me in the comments, and that's it. From there, you can respond to their comment and then reach out to them in direct message. And you can do this by providing a training that you recently did, or a PDF guide that you have, or, it can really be anything. Carriers typically put out all kinds of information all of the time. It can literally be something your carrier just sent you, and you can say, hey, I have this new resource. It's X, Y, and Z. Who wants it? It's a very, very easy thing to let people know about as a resource. And then you can then have a conversation with them around the resource. Ask them, what has you interested in this? And see where they're at and if they need help. This is a very relationship focused way and an easy way to start generating conversations and opportunities for yourself in marketing. And I will say this is the biggest piece that we see missing, is that people have this idea about what marketing is, of creating content, and putting out, they're like video, all of the stuff, the videos and all of the posting and everything is very important, but the key is actually moving that into conversations with people. So you will build the know, like, and trust from people seeing your content, but you've got to have a way to actually have conversations with people. So this is really important. You want to reduce that friction as much as possible. And by that, we mean don't send them to a Calendly link or a landing page or anything like that. Simply have the conversation with them in the comments or in direct message of the social media platform that they're already on. Don't ask them to leave the platform to go fill something out. You can have the conversation with them right then and there in Messenger, and even potentially move that into text message or a quick phone call from there. So this makes it easy for people to get information and get their questions answered. David, anything else on this?
Yeah, just reiterating on that, reducing friction as much as possible, guys. Simple scales.
Yep.
And we talk about this over and over again, and this goes for all areas of your business, but the simpler it is, the more that you can do it at volume as you grow and with the least amount of time successfully, without it breaking, without it causing problems, without it, with it most effectively with the results as well. And so this reducing friction is key. So I see so many times people like, oh, I want to send them to just give them this link, and then they can go to this calendar and they can try to book their own times, or maybe they go to this landing page, they go through these steps and then this funnel, and that takes them here and that goes there. And it's like, in their minds, it's the most amazing creative thing that like takes them through all of these steps. But they fail to put themselves in the prospect shoes and think like a prospect. How many of us, when we're looking to purchase something, when we want something, we're going through stuff, we want to go through 30 steps and click a million different links and go through our stuff, or go click, try to see what on the calendar fits on our calendar, what makes sense, what fits. We would give up and just leave forever and stuff. And the same thing with these prospects. You want to make it simple for them. And that's where, like, social media, for example, gives you all the tools you need. Like, you're not only getting in front of them and connecting with them, and then you've got Messenger right there, and now you're in conversation, and now you can move it to a phone call or a Zoom or something like that, or suggest some times where you're in control of suggesting the time to an appointment and get them booked and have everything there. And so the more complicated you make this, the less results you'll have. And that's why simple is so important. So guys, I challenge you to put yourself in your prospect shoes and think like a prospect. And when you can do that successfully, your marketing will be so much more effective, because you realize that the way we think about things coming from the insurance side and building the business are different than how the insureds and prospects are viewing things. And so they don't react the way that we expect them to, or that we wanted them to. Why are they answering my phone call? Why aren't they wanted insurance? They pulled this form out. They said they wanted it. They signed this thing. They said they needed it. They said that they wanted to talk to me, and I saw them a link to book on my calendar. They never did. And we get confused why they don't act how we want to, because it makes sense to us, but that's not what makes sense to them or what they want to do. So when you can put yourself thinking like your prospect, you'll be much more successful. And so reduce friction. That's at the end of the day what I'm coming back to there.
I love it. It's so important. It's so important to make it as simple as possible. All right. So some things to keep in mind is that digital marketing is still relationship based. So just going back to what we were talking about at the very beginning of this presentation of that, it's still so important to think about this as you would any other type of relationship that you are nurturing and providing value to. And you really want to make sure you've got that strategy to generate the opportunities so that you are asking people to take some sort of action, even if it's as simple as writing a comment in one of your posts. And then don't be afraid to initiate conversations and doing it in a way that is providing value with a resource or some sort of knowledge that you have, a training that you've recently done. Use those things, leverage the content that you're already producing on social media to generate more conversations and pull out people that are interested. And then, of course, keep an open mind about marketing in 2022. It's all about the opportunities and knowing how to generate them. It's not about complicated or fancy funnels, like David said. It's really about having those conversations, really leveraging social media as much as you can to get in front of a big audience that's also the right audience, which you can do both with social media. And then looking for ways to generate those opportunities and create opportunities for conversation. Yes, providing value, being authentic, being genuine, and really, helping people with the knowledge that you have. That's, taking that advisor, that a consultant, 100%. That's what we want to do with social media. And then we also just want to take it a step further and have that strategy in place to create those opportunities and generate conversations. And the results of doing that, this is our wall of case studies here of clients. And one, I actually, even just last week, we had a client post in our client group that from one video, 30-second video, he has a policy he's going to close for over $2,000 in commission. Because someone reached out to him from a video that he did on life insurance.
He even took it down.
He even took down the video after 10 minutes or something like that. But we don't recommend doing that. We don't recommend doing that.
But he still got the sale even before he took it down.
Clients are doubling, tripling their production by really starting to leverage social media in a strategic way, doing it in a way that is helping them really build that know, like, and trust. In addition to still we really believe in building a diversified pipeline, and it's not just one way necessarily, even though you can do it all through social media, like Olivia. We've got Katie Sutton, who goes to her local networking and community events. Lacey Davenport also is another one that does a lot of local networking as well. And Dave Left isn't up here. He was the one that did the video, but we have clients that also very successfully still work leads in addition to doing the social media as well. So think about this as a way that really is a strategy that is part of the overall goal of creating a holistic, full, diversified pipeline. And that's really what we focus on helping clients do, not just the marketing aspect of it, even though we are very good at that, and that is a specialty of ours. We also, help clients really, make sure that they are maximizing their leads, that they are using systems and processes as well as automation and that they're great on the phones as well. Able, once they have those conversations, that they know what they need to say and have the confidence to have that sales conversation as well. David, is there anything you wanted to talk about?
No, I think you covered that pretty well. I mean, honestly, the amount of case studies, results, clients we've helped, like I said, we've worked with hundreds in our programs, helping them grow and scale. I mean, it works, and so that's why we're so confident in that. That's why we offer guarantees on that you guarantee an ROI. I mean, how many people do that? But that's we know it works. We know we've done it for years. We've helped agents and agencies grow and scale significantly with it, and so that's why we talk about all this, because we know it works. It's not theory. It's not it's not theoretical or conceptual. It's here's what actually ends up with actual sales, actual referrals, actual additional growth in this agency. Because at the end of the day, that's what matters, right? Like, you guys didn't join this industry just to not make money or to spend all day smiling down, hoping stuff works out, or to hey, maybe I'll earn a couple extra bucks to pay bills. Like, you got in this industry to grow a business and help people at the same time, and that's what we focus on.
I love it. That's right. All right. So at this point, we have covered the value portion of this training. We have covered, traditional marketing versus digital marketing and marketing strategies that are working in 2022, as well as the 3 steps that you can take to start implementing these digital marketing strategies, in addition to what you're already doing in your business. Now we're going to talk about what it would look like to work with us to implement these strategies inside of your business. So if you guys have what you need, if you want to hop off, feel free to go ahead and do that. But if you want to learn what it looks like to work with us to get these results, and actually make an additional $10,000 in commission in your business over the next 4 months using these strategies that we're talking about, that's what we're going to dive into next. All right. So we work with clients inside of a program called the Closers Click. This is an exclusive community for agents and agency owners that are serious about growing their insurance business. And these are some client testimonials here. A lot of what we teach is around digital marketing, but this is really a comprehensive program where we're talking about marketing, we're talking about optimizing leads, we're talking about sales and closing, as well as how to make clients stickier. So it's retention, cross-selling, referrals, testimonials, everything really that agency owner really needs in order to be successful in this business.
Some of these are even up. Nancy doubled her entire agency's revenue last year. So
yes, she did. And yep. And Kathy more than doubled her production in less than 3 months after working with us. She went from 20,000 to 50,000 in production. Tina increased her closing rate to close to 80%. A lot of because the lead generation that she was doing from social media, so she was actually on the phones with more qualified people because of what she was doing on social. All right, so the program includes a step-by-step marketing framework. This is a lot of what we have been talking about today, and really diving into that, the content to be posting, when to post it, how often, what to post, all of that. We have a whole selling system for that, and how to generate conversations out of social media, and to really expand your brand and own your market. We also help agents and agency owners really define who is that perfect client for them, who is an ideal client, and then how to find them on social media. So that's really how to attract those dream prospects, as well as repelling the time wasters, and ultimately how to completely eliminate the competition, because that's what you do when you have a very strong and compelling marketing message that resonates with that ideal client. There's literally no other choice. They want to work with you, and they know that they want to work with you. And so that is a really big piece of what we teach. and our 15-minute-a-day social selling system. So it is a system, it is a strategy, there is a process that goes along with this so that our clients can be consistent and successful with social media. David, would you like to talk a little bit about this aspect of the program?
Yeah, we'll talk about the quick cash injection as well on the Rainmakers paid lead system. So this is also for working quickly as well. So organic, the social side, the strategic referral partners, it's great. It's exponential growth that you can do there. You can build it up, and the work you put in now leads to exponential and ongoing results over time through there. But there's also quick, hey, if I need something today, tomorrow, or I need to hit a certain amount of production this week, or I have a goal of hitting a certain amount this month or whatever, then there's the other side of quickly, how do I fill that pipeline fast? How do I not waste money on bad leads? How do I maximize an ROI if I'm going to work with leads or vendors as well? And how do I do that profitably? And at the end of the day, that's where most of the frustration comes from on the lead side, is people's experience with leads. They were not profitable or significantly profitable on that. And so it's a very bad experience, wasted money, no results, a lot of time, a lot of bad phone calls, a lot of wasted energy. And so showing how do I do this effectively without spending time smiling and dialing and actually end up with predictable and scalable results that are an ROI, a return on my investment. If I'm putting X in, I'm getting 2, 3, 4, 5, 10X out of it. And how do I do this over and over again and ongoing as well? So we talk about the quick way of getting cash coming in as well in a predictable system that you can grow and scale on that side as well. Now, to be fair, we have a lot of clients get so full on the other sides that they don't ever need to touch a lead or work the leads as well. But at scale, and as you grow bigger and bigger, this becomes an important part of a diversified pipeline to have in there. But you got to have it right, or else it is leads can be a complete waste of time and money if not being done effectively. And so that's what we teach a lot. And it actually kind of blows people's minds a little bit on, yeah, it can be a great piece of a pipeline. I wouldn't recommend it only being part of the pipeline, but yeah, so we dive into that, find the right fits for leads, and at the end of the day, generating ROI. That's what it is at the end of the day, is generating ROI and helping people. So
Love it. We also have our 90-minute automation setup. So this is the make money while you sleep, plug and play automations. So we do talk a lot about automations. One of the key pieces, and I know we talked about lead vendors earlier, purchasing leads, but one of the key pieces to making sure that you are generating that ROI from leads that are purchased is making sure that you have automation in place. And so we even have automations that we can help clients set up on. They could even have ice cold dead leads that they can put through reactivation sequences to actually revive those leads and pull sales out of those leads. Typically there is money in that leads list. It just really needs to be worked very thoroughly. And instead of manually working that, we do rely on automations to help work those leads and relieve a lot of that time burden of manually working leads. And then, of course, nurturing leads as well. If you've been on a training with us before, you've likely heard us use this term of lead nurture. So it's not just about the automation piece of it, but actually nurturing leads, providing value. A lot of what we talked about on using social media, but how to do that effectively through email and through SMS. And again, prompting that response, getting those conversations started. That's the biggest thing, getting somebody to just respond to an email or a text message that you can move the conversation forward. It's a lot about what we focus on in the program so that people can really get those opportunities out of leads that they've purchased.
And just an example of that, I mean, we had a client take 1-year-old life leads that were dead, that he's like, if I sit here and call through any of these, nothing's going to happen. I'm just going to spend a bunch of time. Might as well throw them in a reactivation campaign and let it run out to these people. Ended up selling 12 life policies that week without sitting there calling through the leads. So yeah, pulled a bunch of money out of leads you already had. You already have them, might as well pull out more sales.
Love it. David, do you want to talk about the happy client generator?
The happy client generator. So this is one of my favorites because what we're talking about before is all about attracting those clients, those prospects and referral partners, building and scaling that sales, that production. But the happy client generator is all on the opposite side of once they are clients. Is how do I turn more happy clients into more sales? And so this is where we get in the cross-selling, the retention, the referrals, and basically to the point where you're feeding your pipeline with your existing clients and to where you almost become self-sustaining off your own clients, pushing growth that then pushes more growth, to where that pipeline of new business coming in, you're already growing from your existing client growth. And this is how, as agencies grow and scale, they do end up almost at the self-sustaining point if they're doing this very well, to where they're able to feed themselves their own business in that growth without having to even attract new clients. Of course, we'll do that too to go faster and to have even more coming into this happy client generator. But this is where you basically feed back into your pipeline. Post-sale and keeping a client shouldn't be the end of that or the end of the revenue from that client either. That client is going to have a much higher lifetime value if you're able to help them in other areas of their life with additional policies through cross-selling. You're able to have additional referrals come through them, which is essentially free leads that are coming in that you're probably converting in additional revenue that then will feed you more referrals. And if you're retaining them as well. And so this is where we focus a lot on how do I get additional growth and revenue from the clients I already have as well. And don't be, and not be that agent of, hey, I sold the policy, they're never going to hear from me again, and then wonder why they disappeared and never sent a referral. So that's the happy client generator. It's one of my favorite parts.
I love it. And it's like that almost self-sustaining, self-feeding pipeline at that point. And I think that's really where we all want to be, right? Like we don't want to have to go out and spend so much time and energy acquiring these new leads when we really have so much opportunity in the pipeline because of the clients that are already there. So really creating a system around that and how to do that, and really getting those testimonials, reviews, asking for those referrals. And then, of course, using automations and creating a system, a process that your team all follows for making sure not only that your clients have a great experience working with you, but that you're also, collecting those referrals and testimonials along the way. All right. So when people work with us, we have an entire curriculum that walks them through how to implement these strategies and really to put all of this stuff into practice. It's not just fluff. We do not believe in like fluff. Everything that we talk about and train on are things that you can take and you can implement into your business right away. In addition to this, we also have one-on-one coaching with our team. And that you're able to schedule support calls with us. And we have coaches that train on specific topics within the curriculum so that we can support you throughout this. In addition to the one-on-one, we also have group coaching as well, which happens 2 times a week. So you're able to connect with other members inside of the group, ask questions, and get support there, in addition to working with the coaches. So the community aspect and getting access to the exclusive community is also a big piece of this, in addition to the one-on-one coaching. So when you work with us inside of the Closers Click, this is everything that's included. We've got our perfect pipeline system. So that's what we went through just now as far as the marketing, leads, sales systems, automation systems, as well as the happy client generator. It includes the 2 weekly group support calls inside of our exclusive community. And then the unlimited one-to-one coaching with our experts that are going to help you implement this along the way. We also have some limited time bonus. So you guys are actually the first ones to hear about this. We're going to be talking more about the bonuses over the upcoming weeks, but these are only going to be available for a little while. And that is that we're including 2 months of free automation software, access to our one call closing workshop that's going to be actually hosted by one of our coaches and trainers, Trista. She has tons of experience not only on one call closing, but also cross-selling as well. So how to cross-sell your products and to sell through stories. So she's actually going to teach you a whole framework to close on that call, that very first call, through storytelling, make that connection. And if they weren't already 100% sold on working with you through your marketing and social media, she's going to be working with you on overcoming those objections and making sure there's nothing standing in the way of them deciding to work with you. In addition to that, we have our real estate agent connector workshop. We are really excited about this because it's actually a special guest that's going to be coming in, and he teaches real estate agents how to build referral partnerships with insurance agents. So he's going to be hosting a workshop for TCC clients only. So you have to be inside of the Closers Click to get access to this workshop. And it's going to be on getting inside of the mind of a real estate agent. So what is a real estate agent looking for in a referral partnership with an insurance agent? And what does that look like? And how can you really maximize that referral partnership and utilize that as an additional lead source? In addition to that, of the workshop, we are also hosting a networking event so that all of our Closers Click members are going to have access to this networking event to connect with real estate agents and build these referral partnerships. So not only will you get trained on the best practices and building these referral partnerships, then you will actually have the opportunity to put it into practice and build referral partnerships with real estate agents. And that could be a huge lead source right there. And then finally, we do have some additional bonuses that are full paid bonuses, which is $1,000 in savings and a ticket to our in-person Closers Click events. One happening this year. We actually have our next one coming up at the end of July. It's also going to be with 8% Nation conference. If you are familiar with that, and Cody Askins, we're actually doing a double header. So we have a lot of really exciting things that are happening for a very limited amount of time. We do back everything up with a guarantee. So our promise in working with you is that you will make an additional $10,000 in commissions to treat yourself to a perfect vacation, whatever you want, without thinking twice about your bank balance, or we will work with you until you do. So that is our promise to you. We have seen over and over and over again, our clients have massive results inside of this program. That's our promise, and that when we work together, we're going to make sure that that this program returns that you get a return off of this program. So that is our promise and guarantee. If you're ready to market like it's 2022 and start implementing these strategies inside of your business, take advantage of these limited time bonuses that we have going on. Please scan this QR code. I'm also going to drop the link for you in the chat, and you will be directed to a page where you can fill out your information.
QR code's gone.
What's that?
QR code disappeared.
No, because I need the link to drop, and then I'll put the QR code back up. So I'm going to put the link in the chat.
While I QR codes, clicking a link is always more fun.
Right. So if you want to, both work. So you can either click the link, or if you're watching this on your desktop, then you can scan the QR code with your phone. And then you'll be able to fill out, there's a form there. You'll be able to fill out your information, your name, your phone number, your email address. And that's going to come to us and our team. You'll get the resources from the masterclass. We'll include you some case studies and things that we talked about here, as well as a link to complete an application to work with us. So if you're serious about getting in on these limited time bonuses, you're serious about having a conversation with our team this week to see if this would be a good fit for you, there's a link to fill out that application. Please go ahead and fill out the application when we send it to you if you really want to work with us, because we will prioritize people that fill out that application first for getting them scheduled in for calls. So definitely scan the code. You'll get an email. The email will include a link to an application. So it's kind of a two-step process there. Awesome. Sounds good.
And just to let you guys know, we did have some people reach out and book times already, even prior to this, wanting to know some more. So there's only a couple spots left for tomorrow. So if you do want to chat tomorrow, I would definitely do that as soon as possible. And like I said, we'll prioritize the ones that fill out the application first, but we will have some times available this week as well. So if you'd like to chat, just go ahead and fill that out. Chris, thanks for messaging me on LinkedIn as well. I do spend a little time on there, but I will say it's probably the easiest to go through the link if you can, for sure there. So now we are going to do some Q&A, and I've got some questions that we pulled out from during this that we promised we'd answer, and of course we will. We keep our promises, and so we'll dive in. We'll answer some of those while you guys go ahead and fill that out while you're listening to us. And so let's go ahead and dive into some of these questions. And if you got any final remaining ones, literally the last chance, because we've already been here for a bit. No, we appreciate you guys staying on with us. So go ahead and drop any final questions. We'll answer them, but those will be the last questions we'll take. So the link will have the info for you to fill out, and then it'll send you it'll take you to the app right after. So if you just do that, it'll take you to the app. So thank you, Ricardo. The Closures Quick will help you keep focused on marketing. Appreciate it. We love working with you, Ricardo. So let's see. We've got some questions. And yes, we did have some few people request replays during this too. We'll make sure to have replays go out. Hopefully tomorrow, actually, for you guys. So Stacy Weathers, should you create a group to meet prospects? I think I might have answered this in the chat. Yes, creating groups can be excellent and very powerful tools for growing your business, as we well know ourselves and are very, very good at it. And we do teach it a little bit, but it would not be one of the first methods I'd recommend, because I'm gonna be honest with you guys, creating and running groups, especially building one from scratch, is incredibly time consuming. It takes so much time, and there's so many other faster, more effective ways to be doing first before you go do that. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but there's already groups out there of your target audiences, as well as other things we teach that are going to be a lot quicker. And then that can be something eventually later on you do add as well. But I do not want to understate that how time consuming it is to build and run a group. And if you don't do it effectively, it's just a waste of time. So I'm just putting that out there. Let's see, Shane, how do you advertise yourself in other states you're licensed in other than your home state? Okay, cool. Perfect. As most people today are licensed in multiple states, and in this digital world that exists today, doesn't really matter where you're located that much. There's a lot of ways to get into other state or advertise. I want to move away from the word advertise, because that's not really how to approach social in different ways to get in front there. If we're talking specifically about social media. So social media, Facebook groups, other existing Facebook groups are great to get into. There's ones by state, by cities, by counties. There's a bazillion for every single state that you can imagine. And so starting to get in some of those, making connections is a great way to get a focused audience within a certain state, for example, referral partners in that state. There's a lot of ways to social to get in front of them, but those would be probably two of my main ones, is Facebook groups within that state, and then referral partners within that state. And if you get people from states you're not even in, then that's fine. They just have a solid referral partner for that state. And that's a great referral relationship right there. Lots of ways. You want people to come to you for help, whether or not you end up being the final person that helps them. You being able to just refer someone and connect them with someone, if you're not licensed for that state, leads to even referrals coming from that person to you for your state and stuff. So definitely keep that in mind. And then for outside of social and strategic referral partners, obviously you can get lead lists for within that state if you are going to work leads from within that state. So there's a lot of ways to get in front. So hopefully that answered your question a little bit. Let's see, we got Stacy Weather. How do you get your target market to see the content outside of your friends? Ooh, that's a good one. Okay, so there's a few ways. I think we're talking social media, and friends, as in friend connections on social. If you meant beyond that, just in general, how do you get in front of more than just your friends? Let me know. But on social media, yes, you're going to build these friend connections of strategic referral partners, centers of influence, and your target audience as well. And so they'll see those. But as you get, and this is something we teach in depth within the program, but as you get this engagement happening on your content, Facebook, and we get into depth on how the algorithm works. In fact, we've done a bunch of Facebook Lives even in this group explaining in general how it works. I'm not going to dive into that right now. But as you get in engagement, Facebook says, hey, this is really great. I want to get this in front of more of this person's audience, but even outside their audience. So there's ways, even if you're doing really well with your existing audience, Facebook will push it beyond there. And then there's ways that get in front of more than just your audience, such as Reels. We just had a client do a video last week that's got almost 60,000 views on one of her Reels. So there's a lot of ways just using social to get outside of just that friend audience. But I mean, you get up to 5,000. And if you're being targeted with who those 5,000 are you are connecting with, that's a big audience there, but you can also expand beyond that, of course. And that's just Facebook. TikTok, like we said, that's getting beyond just even your connections there. In fact, your connections and followers on TikTok are actually going to be the smaller percentage to actually see stuff. It's all the people that you're not even connected with that'll see it too. So all kinds of cool stuff there. Let me know if you got any additional questions, Stacy. Trista, in regards to social media videos, do you recommend pre-recorded videos or live videos? And the answer is yes. Recommend both, actually. So they're both really, really great for different reasons. So it's actually good to have a mix. So we love live. Facebook loves live. Facebook pushes live. Facebook rewards lives. And lives are great for having interaction with your audience while you're doing it. You can reuse it in a lot of ways. Lives are great. But pre-recorded, planning ahead on content, having a specific piece you want to do at a specific time. But if I'm recording videos at 1 a.m. may not be the good time to do a Facebook Live, so I'll record it, put it out later. So it's there's pros to both of them. So I don't really recommend one over the other in particular. And then what do you recommend for personal posts versus insurance-related posts on your social media? I recommend a mix of those. In fact, that's what we teach in depth within the program as well, is how to balance and how that works to manipulate and use the Facebook algorithm to your advantage. But yes, personal is great because people love it. They want to see it. It entertains people, engagement posts, and that's where you build up this engagement. And then you also use insurance related posts more on the educational side to build authority and trust, and then pull those referrals and prospects to you. So hopefully that answers your question there. I think I answered all the questions.
While you're answering questions, I did put the screen share back up for the QR code. So you can either click the link in the chat or you can scan the QR code. It will take you to a page here, I think. Yeah, that looks like this. This will be where you want to fill out your information, and then you'll receive the email with resources from the masterclass, as well as a link to fill out an application to work with us.
Oh, there's one more question. So Cliff, do you show how to advertise on Facebook? I have no clue how to do any social marketing. So Cliff, we go in depth how to use organic social for free to pull these referrals, strategic referral partners, and grow your business and additional sales and stuff through there. As far as like paid ads, like Facebook and stuff, we don't really dive into that, as usually it's much more cost effective and time effective from potentially grabbing from vendors than essentially. I think there's a common misconception with ads that's like, hey, I put this image, this text, and I'll pull in leads and they'll just roll in and they'll stay at this cost forever, which is a better cost than I get it from vendors. In reality, it's not exactly true. You have to actually end up becoming a advertiser and learning how to run ads and manage them and checking them every day and managing as price fluctuates, goes up and down. Like fourth quarter of the year, everybody dumps ad budget, so prices skyrocket with leads and stuff like that. And trust me, you end up spending much more time there and sometimes not, actually a lot of times not beating the rate at which vendors can do it volume. And so it's better to just be more strategic and get better quality fits and for prices and stuff from vendors and optimize those and try to learn to be a Facebook advertiser. So that's one of the reasons we don't dive really in depth on that, because most don't want to spend the time and effort that actually is required to do that successfully. But I think that was the Karam didn't receive his email, so if we can resend that, that'd be great. Yes, I already said that we will. So guys, just to highlight once again, like if you guys are even on the fence, like I want to grow my business, I've either been stuck, I'm new where I want to grow it, I'm looking to double my business from what I'm already doing. If you're on the fence, go ahead and fill this out. Go ahead and let us dive through what all is there for you guys. But at the end of the day, most important thing, whether it's diving in on this or something else, but it's taking action, because if nothing changes, nothing changes. And so I hear the same things over and over again, or I'll have agents come to me and say, hey, I really want to make change. I want to grow, but maybe not right now. And then 6 months later, a year later, sometimes a couple years later, it's the same spot or even worse than it was before. So if you don't make changes, nothing changes. We would love to be the ones to help you, just like we've done with hundreds of other agencies grow and scale. But at the end of the day, find something that's going to help get you where you want to go, and let them help. Let them save you the time, the effort, the frustration. Because I'll be honest, 92% in this industry don't make it past the first couple of years because they don't have the help. They don't have the support. They're just throwing a contract, say, figure it out. And honestly, this is tough when you're out there alone. And that's one of the big things we didn't dive as much into on this is the community. It's not just us, the coaches, it's hundreds of other agency owners building and scaling their agencies that send referrals back and forth to each other all the time, that help share what they're doing that they found so effective. They're testing something, saying, hey, I did this really effectively. Heck, we've got a farmers mastermind group in there of some of the farmers agents have gotten together and formed a little mastermind, sharing all of the inside stuff that they're doing that have worked so successfully for growing and scaling their farmers agencies, which have done very well. We have agencies that are top in their states and have gone from struggling to now top agencies. And so it's the community is a huge aspect of very positive, very willing to help, very willing to support each other. So if you feel like kind of alone out there, like I could use a bunch of people surrounding me, pushing me forward, helping me grow, knowing they got my backs and stuff as well. That's what we do in the Closers Group. So look forward to hopefully working with a bunch of you guys, talking with you guys. We'd love to help serve you guys in there. Also continue to check out everything within the market for insurance agents. We've said we do trainings every Monday in there, and always love to connect with people in there. But yeah, Elle, anything final?
That's it. If you are interested in working with us, go ahead, scan this or click the link and fill out that form, and our team will be in touch with you, and you should get an automated email with the link to fill out the application. So thanks, everybody. We're really looking forward to seeing you guys put this stuff into practice, put it into action. And have an awesome Monday night. We really appreciate you all hanging on with us. We'll be back next Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern.
Let's get that bell ringing, guys.